நடவடிக்கை எடுத்ததற்கு முதலமைச்சர் பழனிசாமி பாராட்டு. அடிக்கல் நாட்டு உள்ள பிரதமர் மோடிக்கும்
Yeah. ஆமாப்பா எனக்கு இந்த ஸ்கிரீன் ஷேர் ஆப்ஷன் எதுவும் லாக் பண்ணிருக்கீங்களாப்பா? A very good morning to all. Vidya, shall I start?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Good morning, ma'am.
Shall I start, Vidya? Are you able to see the screen?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. Shall I start, Vidya?
Yes, ma'am. You can start, ma'am.
Okay. A very good morning to all the participants. Hope you have worked on the projects which we have discussed yesterday, and it has been posted in the Google Classroom. Hopefully, you have worked with the project, and a special vote of gratitude to all the participants who have taken up the assignment quiz seriously, and those who have submitted the quiz and responded to me very quickly. Thank you all, and I would I would like to have the same response. We are going to, we have completed, we cannot say that we have completed, right? We have seen through the data analysis part. So in data analytics, we have just collected statistics and analytics on a data set, and we have just collected the statistics, and we have certain analysis over the data we have collected. So do you think that it makes a sense by stopping it with this stage of data analysis? Not at all, right? So it will not make sense without us carrying out any kind of decision making on the data analytics we have collected, or we will have to make some inference, or we will have to make some conclusions or decisions about the analytics or statistics we have collected, right? So that will help for future prediction. See, for this we need to get into the concept of machine learning. So this branch of study, it deals with the prediction of future data with relevance to historical data. See, we can have two different types of data, that is historical data and the future centric data. So as we have discussed during the first day, the business across the globe, it is completely nowadays reliant on this statistics and analytics, which gives the intelligence for the business concerns to promote their businesses. So we should definitely predict, we should definitely make some future centric predictions based on the statistics we have collected. Till yesterday, we have been working on the collection of statistics, and we have made a minimum inference over the data. And the next task is we will have to make conclusions or decisions or predictions on the future data. The thing is, we are going to predict the future data with relevance to the historical data. So that is the major concept behind this branch of study, that is machine learning, right? So today we will be discussing about we have started discussing about machine learning, and we will be going through certain techniques of the machine learning. Okay, so let me just tell you, let me just explore you towards real-time application of this machine learning, right? See, everybody, we will be using our mail as Gmail or Yahoo Mail. So whenever there is a new incoming mail, what happens? Whenever there is a new incoming mail, what happens? The first thing is, we all think that the mail directly gets placed in an inbox or directly gets placed in a spam folder. But the theory behind this process, this mailing process, this storage process is machine learning, right? So what happens is, as soon as we receive an mail, they will check whether the mail is from our contact history or it is from non-contacts, right? If the mail is from the contact history, so this is going to be an yes or no process. So this is a decision making process, right? So they will check whether Gmail will check whether the incoming mail is from the contact history or not, yes or no. If yes, if it is from the contact history, then it will check for the mail, uh, then it will check whether the mail is containing any vulnerable content or not, right? So this again, it will be checked by the historical data which Gmail has collected from millions of Gmail subscribers, right? So whenever you have a suspicious mail, what you would do is, what we do is, we will definitely report spam towards the mail. We'll report the mailing concern about the about the vulnerability, and we will report spam towards the particular mail. So like us, there will be millions of subscribers across the globe, and they would have reported spams in case of the reception of vulnerable emails, and Gmail will be collecting the history of this vulnerable data in the backend, right? So the next stage of decision making is, after after it checks whether the incoming mail is from contact history or not, yes or no. If it is yes, then it will check for the vulnerable data. From the vulnerable data history it has collected, right? If there is a vulnerable data, yes, if it is going to be yes, then it is going to be, then the mail will be placed in spam folder. If no, if the mail is not containing any kind of vulnerable data, then the mail is going to be placed in our inbox, right? So this is completely a decision making process, that is yes or no. A decision has two main values, yes or no. So this is a real world application which will demonstrate the machine learning process which is happening with the Google accounts, right? The same machine learning is happening in the back end of the search engines. That is why we are able to receive advertisement from several business concerns as we Google our area of interest, or as we Google any kind of material which we want to purchase, then immediately we will start receiving advertisements towards the purchase of that particular material. So that is how they are attracting us towards the businesses in order to promote their business, right? So the entire internet, the world wide web, across several search engines and across several mailing domains, there is a machine learning process which is happening behind, right? So that is why, that is the major significance of us to explore this machine learning process. And so this is a real time example of a machine learning which is happening with Gmail, Yahoo Mail, and all the mailing domains. Okay. So now machine learning, it contains several steps. The process of machine learning, it contains several steps. I would just explain you what are all the steps. So as we have discussed earlier, there are two types of data. As we have discussed earlier, there are two types of data, that is historical data and future centric data, right? So historical data is the data which we possess in our hand, right? So yesterday you have explored through certain data sets as the police data set, car data set, and weather data set. So that is the historical data, right? The data in our hand is said to be the historical data, and the data which we are going to predict with relevance to the historical data is said to be the future centric data, right? So there are two different types of data, that is the training data, and we are going to have another set of data as the test data, which will make some future centric predictions as we require, right? There are two types of data. Now the first step of machine learning, data set from some relevant and renowned sources, right? Because the quality of the data upon which you are working, it is just going to ensure the accuracy of the prediction which you are going to make with the data. You should not collect the data from some unauthentic sources. You should always make sure that high quality data from authentic sources as Kaggle, right? NASA. So you should collect your data set from authentic resources. So the quality of the data, it will definitely predict the accuracy. It will definitely impact upon the accuracy of the prediction which you're going to make. And this is the first step, that is data collection. The second step is data preparation or data pre-processing. We have discussed certain data pre-processing techniques yesterday in data analytics process. So we should not work on the raw data which we are collecting. We have to pre-process our data. That is, you will have to find out the missing values of a particular data column, and you will have to replace the missing value with the mean value. Otherwise, you will have to remove the particular row if it is not meaningful for you to work with. So all that pre-processing you will have to carry out. Also, you will have to check the formats, the data types of each column, right? All the cell values of a particular column is adhering to the same data type or not. You will have to check. You will have to format the data, right? So that the procedure becomes easier for you when you work with the machine learning functions, right? So data pre-processing is the second step, and the third step is we are going to choose a model. Model means you're going to seek the help of certain algorithms, to build a training model. That is a machine learning model. There are several algorithms, there are several classification algorithms, as a decision making algorithm and regression algorithms. So there are several classification algorithms which will allow you to develop a model, right? So you're going to give your training data set. So the third step is you will have to choose a relevant model for your data set, right? So model is nothing but you're going to take help from certain inbuilt algorithms, right? As a decision making algorithm, the regression algorithms, you're going to seek help from those algorithms. You're going to develop a model. So this is going to be your machine learning model, right? This model is going to make predictions for you. This model is actually going to make predictions for the future centric data, right? And so the third step is to choose a model with relevant algorithm, and the fourth step is you will have to train the model, right? So what do you mean by training the model? You will have to train the model with the historical data, right? With the data in hand, you will have to train the model. So the training data, it is going to be given as the input to the model which you have developed, right? So this is the fourth step. You will have to train the model with the training data. So there are two different types of data, as I've said earlier, that is training data and test data. Training data, see, for example, consider you're having a data set. You can use 80 or 90 percentage of the data set as the training data, and the remaining 10 percentage of the data set can be used as the test data. right? It can be used as a test data, and you can predict the features, and you can predict the accuracy of the value of the features. So that is happening in this machine learning. So the fourth step is training the model with the training data set. And the fifth step is you will have to evaluate the model. You will have to evaluate the model. For example, evaluating the model is just predicting the accuracy of the model, right? So with the training data, as you give the training data as input to the machine learning model, and you will be testing it with the test data. What happens is, for this test data, you will be predicting the values, you'll be predicting the feature values, and you're going to find out the accuracy. You're going you have arrived with the test data set. Data set. So that is evaluating the model. You're going to find out the accuracy of the model you have developed. Arriving at a lower accuracy. Suppose if your training model, suppose if your machine learning model you should try to increase the training data set. So as I've said earlier, if you have used 70% of the data set as training data set and you have arrived at a lower accuracy, then you will have to increase the training data set. You'll have to increase the proportion of the training data set. Suppose 90% of the total data set can be fed in for training, and you can just check for the accuracy of the model, right, with the feature. And you can in case of the accuracy increases, then you can stop there. Your model is perfect, and from then on you can make predictions on the model. From then on, finally, the seventh step is you can make predictions on the model. See, you need not panic about the steps which I have discussed, because I'm going to give you an example. As I go through an example, you will be able to understand all the steps of all the 7 steps of this machine learning. I will be demonstrating it with an example in this session itself, right? You need not panic, right? We will see it with an example. Okay. So all this decision making process is said to be a classification process. A classification process in the sense you're going to classify, you're going to conclude upon a decision, yes or no. Hence, they are said to be, this decision making process is said to be a classification process also. So these are all the different algorithms which are available with this machine learning. That is the linear regression, logistic regression, decision tree, random forest, support vector model, and the k-means clustering. There are several classification algorithms. So these are all the algorithms which are going to allow you to create a training model. These are all the algorithms. These are all inbuilt algorithms which is available with the tools as Python, right? Write the coding for this algorithm. All these algorithms are inbuilt with Python. You can just call these algorithms as function, and you can create models. You can train your data set. You can predict the future centric data values. So this is the process. And also you should make sure that you should not have a wrong perception that all the data sets will fit into a particular model. We cannot ensure that all the data sets will give the same accuracy with the different algorithms. It's not so, right? It depends upon the nature of the data which you're working with, and you should choose the appropriate algorithm to train your data. It all depends upon the nature of the data. Suppose, for example, you consider weather data set. The weather data set, with the weather data set, it is a historical data. You can predict whether it will rain today or not. Right, all the weather reports which we receive through the television, they are all the predicted values which are given by the weather scientists, right, who are working on this machine learning algorithm. So with the historical weather data set, you can find out whether it will rain tomorrow or not. You can predict whether it will rain tomorrow or not, right? So this weather data set, it might work with decision tree. The weather data set will be accurate with decision tree algorithm, but it might not be accurate with the logistic regression algorithm, right? So it depends upon the nature of data which we are working with. We will have to choose the appropriate model. you need not write the coding for these algorithms. You're just going to call these algorithms as functions. They're already available in the Python libraries. Okay, so this is a brief introduction to the machine learning, and today we are going to regression, that is linear regression and logistic regression, right? So today we will be learning the regression techniques, and I will be explaining all the steps of the machine learning process. Let me continue with the regression techniques, and also I want to make it clear, when I'm just sending the .jpynb file for you through Classrooms. I've sent 3 files earlier. To open those files, you will have to open the Jupyter command prompt first, right? Make sure that you're opening the Jupyter command prompt first. You should open it first, and then you will have to give file open in the Jupyter application. So as you open the Jupyter command prompt, the Jupyter application will open in any of your browsers, right? Either it might be Internet Explorer, or it might be Firefox, or it might be Google Chrome. It might open in any of the default browsers of your computer system. After the application opens, you will have to give file open, and you point to the location where you have downloaded the file which I have sent you, right? So .jpynb means it is Jupyter Notebook extension. Jupyter Notebook extension it is. Okay. And also I would also I would also clarify about the .csv format. So we are working upon data sets. All the data sets are containing an extension as .csv. .csv means it is comma separated value. .csv means separated value. So what is a .csv file? What it means is, it is a file. It is a file which contains, which stores which stores all the records separated by commas, right? It stores a record, and all the values for the record will be separated by comma. It is it is called as comma separated file. It is a delimited text file. It is a comma separated file. So in this type of file, we each record is going to be stored as a line of text. Each record, it is going to be stored as a line of text separated by comma. So all the features which are relevant for each record, it will be separated by comma. So why we use this .csv file is, it is compatible with all the tools, all the machine learning and data analytic tools which is available with Python and R programming. It is very compatible. Also, it is very efficient. So that is why we are using this .csv file. It is comma separated values. So all the features for a particular record, it will be stored as a line of text separated by comma. So that is why we are using the comma separated value extended file with Excel, right? So now I would have hopefully I have clarified, and let us continue with this regression process. So today we have started machine learning, and we are going to learn about the regression technique for machine learning. Okay. Are you able to see the screen, Vidya?
Yes,
Vidya?
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Shall I proceed?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now we are getting into the regression techniques, and now we are at the edge of developing a simple machine learning model using linear regression and logistic regression. So now let me just tell you what the process of regression is. So what do you mean by regression? Regression is a statistical technique. It is a statistical modeling technique where we are going to analyze the relationship between two variables, right? It is a statistical modeling technique where we are going to analyze the relationship between two variables, that is an independent variable and a dependent variable, right? So this is what regression is. It is a statistical modeling technique. For example, you consider an independent variable x, right, and a dependent variable. You just visualize a graph which you have learned in your schooling, right? So you just think about an independent variable x and a dependent variable y. So you take x to be for example, the total amount of that you take x to be the total amount of time a student is spending in social media. You take x to be the total amount of time a student is spending in social media, and you take y to be his academic proficiency, right? So y is dependent, y is representing the academic proficiency of the student, and x is independent, so it is representing the total amount of time a student is spending in social media, right? So what happens, how do you analyze these two variables? Y will y what will y do? Y is completely dependent on x, right? Y is the dependent variable. It is dependent on x variable. So the student's academic proficiency will come down as the student spends more amount of time with social media, right? There are possibilities for the student's academic proficiency to come down as he spends more amount of time with social media. So this is called as dependent and independent variables, right? So regression is a statistical modeling technique where you're going to analyze how the dependent variable behaves with respect to independent variable. So this is a regression technique. So there are two main regression techniques, that is linear regression and logistic regression. So let me start with linear regression. So in linear regression, again, it is a regression technique. We are going to analyze the relationship between two variables, that is and the dependent variable is said to be the predicted or modeling equation for this linear regression is, so how do you plot the graph for these two variables? B. So this is a form of prediction which we do. So how do we, what is the prediction which we apply here? We can predict y's value with x value, isn't it? So that is the prediction which we apply here. We can predict y's value with x value. So x is independent variable. So with that we are going to make predictions on y's value, which is the dependent variable. So y is equal to mx plus b. So this is the modeling equation which we have for this particular model. And as we have discussed earlier, y represents the dependent variable, x represents the independent variable, and m is representing slope or coefficient. M is said to be a coefficient because it is coefficient of x here. M is said to be a coefficient because it is coefficient of x here. And what do you mean by this coefficient? What is this coefficient? What is a coefficient? So it is just going to have an impact on y's value as the value of x changes, that is the value of x is increasing or decreasing by 1 unit. So the slope or coefficient, it is going to influence on the y's value as the x value is changing, that is the x value is increasing or decreasing by 1 unit. So that is what slope or coefficient is. And b represents the intercept or constant. B is representing the intercept or constant. So it is nothing but the intercept is just representing the value of y. Intercept is just representing the value of y, the mean value of y, when all x value becomes 0. It is just representing the mean value of y when all x value becomes 0. In other words, I would just make it clear to you. See, this intercept is just showing the location where the line in the graph, It is just showing the location where the line in the graph is intersecting with the axis. It is just showing the line in the graph where the line may intersect with the axis, right? So you may wonder, why should we use this m and b values? Why should we use the slope and intercept values? These two values play a major role in the prediction accuracy of y, right? See, it may not be for us to learn theoretically. We may think that this m and b values is not important. It's not important in predicting the line, but it plays a major role in the prediction accuracy of y, right? So the correct fixation, the exact fixation of m and b is going to ensure the prediction accuracy of the dependent variable y, right? So hopefully I have clarified this modeling equation, that is y is equal to mx plus b. And now let me continue. Okay. So uh, as far as linear regression is concerned, what we do is we have to analyze a straight line which best fits all the observations which we make. So how do you make the observations? The observations are nothing but the points which you plot in the graph based on the historical data. That is the training data. That is the data which is present in your hand. You're just plotting the points. And this modeling is mainly for prediction. This modeling technique is mainly for prediction. That is, you're going to predict the value of y with respect to x. You're going to predict the value of y with respect to x. So the prediction is going to be the major concept here. So you will have to the scope of this regression technique is you will have to analyze a best fit line which fits all the observations, right? Which best fits all the observations you have made with the historical data. And based on this line, this is the line which gives you the predictions on the future centric data. It is upon this line which the model is just giving predictions for the future centric data. So we will have to analyze the best fit line which is best fitting all the historical observations you have made with the training data, right? So this is the analysis which we are going to make. Just look into the graph here. So in the x-axis, we in millimeter. This is independent, right? Because you cannot influence the rainfall. It is completely out of nature, right? How intensely the rainfall is occurring or not, it is completely out of nature. It is independent, right? And in the y-axis, we are having the umbrellas sold. In the y-axis, we are having the umbrellas sold. So this is dependent. The y variable is a dependent variable. The total number of umbrellas sold is dependent on the amount of rainfall, right? It is quite natural. When you have heavy rainfall, people go purchase more number of umbrellas for their family members, right? So this is naturally happening. And the y variable, that is the dependent variable, it is going to be the umbrellas sold. So as the rainfall increases, the total number of umbrellas sold is also increasing. The total number of umbrellas sold is also increasing, that you can visualize from this graph. And we have the blue dots or the observations which we have made with the historical data. And the red line is the best fit line, which is the outcome of our machine learning model. That is, which is the outcome of our linear regression model, right? So this is the prediction line. This line is going to make predictions of the test data with relevance to the training data, right? Hopefully you would be clear now. Okay. See, you cannot ensure that always this. See, here the slope is positive. Here the slope is positive. That is why as x increases, it is completely directly proportional. Both the variables are directly proportional. As x increases, y also increases. It is said to be a positive slope. You cannot have a wrong interpretation that always the slope cases where negative slopes are also present. So let me give an example for that. See, seen earlier, that is x, that is the independent variable. It is going to be the total number student have different amount of time which he is spending with the social media based on his interest, and y is going to be dependent, that is his academic proficiency. So as the student is spending more amount of time with social media, his academic proficiency reduces. So there is a declining graph line, right? So that is said to be a negative slope. That is said to be a negative slope. Always you cannot ensure that the slope is always positive. That is, y increases with x. You cannot make sure, right? Y may also decrease with an increase in x. So that is said to be a negative slope. So here I have shown you both positive slope. And okay, you think about another example. As an independent variable, you have the area of a house in square meter. As an independent variable, you have area of a house in square meter. As the dependent variable, that is on y-axis, you consider the rent of the house. The rent of the house, right? So as the area of the house increases, the rent of the house also will increase. So in that case, it is a positive slope. And the outcome of this linear regression, we cannot make sure that always the slope is positive or always the slope is negative. It depends upon the nature of the data upon which we are working. Okay. So now we are going to get into the project. Only with the project you will understand this linear regression model well. So the scope of the project is to develop a very simple machine learning model using linear regression technique. We are going to develop a very simple machine learning model with this linear regression algorithm. The modeling equation is y is equal to mx plus b. You should have that in mind because we will be testing the equation. We will be testing the model with this particular equation. We will test the value. We will find out the accuracy of y's value. Okay? So here I'm going to have a very small data set which contains just 2 columns, a very small data set which contains 2 columns. It is an employee data set, right? So here we are going to have experience, years of experience of the employee and salary of the employee, right? So as the years of experience of an employee increases, the salary also increases. This is completely a positive slope. And with this data set, we are going to build a machine learning model, and we are going to plot the accuracy of the machine learning model in predicting future values, in predicting new input values, right? So here x is going to be the experience. It is an independent variable because different employees of a concern will have different years of experience. It is completely independent. And y will be the salary of the employee. It is dependent on x. That is, it is depending, the salary of the employee is dependent on the years of experience he or she has got. And these are the 2 variables which we are going to work with. And the major scope for us is we will have to determine the accuracy of this linear regression model. We have to determine the accuracy of the model. So how accurately it is making predictions on y with respect to x, right? The percentage of accuracy we will have to predict. So let us get into the project now. Okay. Vidya, are you able to see the screen? Vidya, are you here?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Are you able to see the screen?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, shall I proceed, Vidya?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, pa. Okay. So here we are going to work with this project. So here we are going to develop a machine learning model with linear regression. And this model is going to estimate the relationship between a dependent variable with relevance to an independent variable. So this is relying on an equation y is equal to mx plus b. Y is dependent, x is independent, m is the slope or coefficient, right? So as x increases or decreases by 1 unit. So that is m, that is the slope or coefficient, and b is going to be the intercept. So b represents the value of y for all x is equal to 0. That is, it is going to show you the location of the line where the line is going to intersect the axis, where the line is going to intersect the x and y axis, right? So that is intercept. So why should we use this m and b? So these are the major factors which is going to decide the accuracy of y, which is going to decide the accuracy of our model. So definitely we need these two values, these two variables, right? So let us get into the step one. So step one is we will have to import the necessary libraries. So to work with pandas, you will have to import pandas library. So here we are going to make some graph. Here we are going to make some visualization process. We need a graph here. So there is a library called as matplot library. There is a library available with Python called as matplot library. So even that library we will have to import, right? So I will be showing you now how do we import it. Okay. So the first one is we need pandas library. Only with this pandas we will be able to import our data set. Only with pandas we will be able to import our data set. So we need this pandas library, and we need another library, that is matplot library, that is also getting imported. Plotlib, right? So this is the library name. It is available with Python. And one point is you will have to, in case if this library function is not working with your Jupyter prompt, you open Anaconda. You opened Anaconda command prompt, right? You give pip install, that is pip install matplotlib, right? You open up Anaconda prompt and you give pip install. You just give, see, this is what you should give. Suppose if this matplot library is not working with your Jupyter prompt, you please do this, right? Pip install matplotlib, right? This is to be done, right? This is to be done with your Anaconda prompt. This is to be done with your Anaconda prompt. Okay. So now I'm just continuing. So now I am importing the matplot library. So in this matplot library, I need a module pyplot. In this matplot library, I need a module called as pyplot. So with there are certain graph visualization functions available with this pyplot module of matplot library. And for this also, to accessing all those functions, I need to create an object. I'm creating an object as PLT. Right? This is a variable name. You can have any of your name. It's not that you should have only PLT, right? So the next step is, once a graph is generated, I want to view the graph in line with Jupyter. See, as we have discussed earlier, this Anaconda 3 is supporting different tools as Jupyter. It is also supporting Spider, right? It is supporting several tools, right? Several Python programming and R programming tools are supported with Anaconda 3. In order to view the graph which we generate in line with this Jupyter notebook, that is, we have to view the graph in line with the notebook which we have opened. For that, you need to include this line, percentage matplotlib space inline, right? So this line is included in order to view the graph in our Jupyter notebook. In line with our Jupyter notebook, we have to view the graph. So that is why we are including this line. So we have imported the necessary libraries. Okay. So if you have this, see the star symbol here, the kernel is in execution. You have to wait. You have to wait until it completes its execution. Right? You have to wait. Okay. So once the star goes off, the execution is complete. Now, the second step is you will have to import the data set. You have to import the data set. So I'm having a data set called as salary. I'm having a data set called as salary. So the data set here, the data set is here. I'll show you the data set. It is a very simple data set. I'm having just around 10 records. Just I'm having 10 records. So experience, it is going to be your X, and salary is going to be your Y, which is dependent, right? Okay. So I'm having a very simple data set here. So we have to include this data set now. Now I'm getting into I need to copy the extension of the file. So now we will have to import our data set with the read underscore CSV function, right? So PD, so we will have to assign it to an object or variable, right? I'm assigning it. So with the object which you have created for pandas, you have to call the read underscore CSV function. And I am just copying the extension. So here in front, you use this R in order to skip the Unicode error. Okay. So now the data set has been imported. Now let us have a look on our data. See, this is our data frame. This is our data frame. Students also, participants are also, you should, hopefully you should have experienced this yesterday. See, whatever you work with the data frame, this is not going to affect your original data set. That you should be very clear, right? You have imported your data set into the data frame. You are working only on the data frame. So the changes which you make to the data frame is not going to directly affect the original data set. You are just working on the data frame that you will have to demonstrate and check, right? That is why you will have to keep on working with the projects, right? Okay. So the next step is importing the data set. The data set has been imported now. The step 2 has been completed. So here X is going to be your independent variable and Y is going to be your dependent variable. So these are the row indexes 0, 1, 2, 3. They show your row indexes. So we have completed the second step. And the third step is we have to train the model. The third step is we have to train the model. So for this, what is the algorithm which we choose? In columns, right? And also we know that as the employee's years of experience increases, his salary should increase, right? So this is something which is very common. It's happening all around. So we will have to choose this linear regression model as the best algorithm for us to train this machine learning model. And now we will find out how do we train the model. Okay. So for this, we will have to import sklearn library, right? As I've said earlier, all these models are available as inbuilt algorithms. All these algorithms are inbuilt. With just a function call, you can call those algorithms and you can make it to work for your model, right? So for this, you will have to import sklearn's library. There is a library called as sklearn. From sklearn library, you will have to import a model called as linear underscore model. From sklearn library, you need this particular module, that is linear underscore model. So from this library, you import your model, import the needed model. The needed model is linear regression. You should not go wrong in your spelling because all these are keywords, right? Okay. And the next step is, see, the first step in training the model is, we are just importing the linear regression model from the sklearn library. And the next step is we will have to create the linear regression object. The next step is we will have to create the linear regression object. So for this, you can have any object name. Here I'm having an object name as model. And here I'm going to call this linear regression function, right? So now an object to our model has been created, right? We have created a linear regression object. So inside, I'm just making my object to refer to this particular model, right? I have called the model now. Now the third step is we have to fit X and Y in the linear regression model, right? So X and Y, we have X and Y variables, that is the independent and dependent variable. We are allowed to fit it into our model. So for that, you will have to call a function called as fit function. There is a function called as fit, right? See, this fit function is available with this particular module. This fit function is available with this module. So now we have just created our linear regression model. So from now on, in order to refer to the functions which are available with this inbuilt model, we will have to use this object name. So model.fit, you have to fit the data. So how do you refer to the data columns? You will have to use your data frame name, right? Yesterday we have discussed it. How do you refer to a data column? You have to use your data frame name, right? Okay. So here we have two columns as experience and salary. So the first thing is we are fitting in our experience. Experience is the independent variable, that is the X variable. Always this linear regression model, this inbuilt linear regression model, it is accepting this independent variable in a two-dimensional format. You should keep that in mind. Always it is accepting this independent variable in a two-dimensional format. So you will have to consider it as a two-dimensional array, right? So this is the syntax which you'll have to make. You should have two square braces, otherwise you would go wrong. There will be a syntax error, right? Always the independent variable, it should be two-dimensional. It should be two-dimensional. So here I am feeding in the data name, the column name, it is experience, and our dependent variable is y. Our dependent variable is y. So again, for that particular column salary, you will have to refer it with this data frame name. So the dependent variable need not be in two dimension. It is just a single dimension. Only the independent variable is two dimensional, right? Okay. So now we have completed. Now we have fitted in the values of x and y in the linear regression model, right? So there are three steps in training the model. The first step is you will have to import the necessary library, right? So this linear regression is available as a module in sklearn library. So here you will have to do this, and then you will have to create an object to refer to your model. To refer to your model, you will have to create an object. So now from now on, you will have to access all the functions which are available with this linear regression model using your object name. So the third step is you will have to fit x and y in linear model. That is, so this is where you are training your model. This is where actually you're training your model, right? So you have created your model here, and you will have to train your model with this particular data set. So you are feeding in the values of the independent variable and the dependent variable. You're fitting in the values into your model. You're training your model now. So now let us execute this. Okay. So it is in execution. Okay, it has been executed. Now we have to start making predictions. So how do we make predictions? We will make predictions now. So we will predict y with respect to x. So that is what this linear regression is. We will predict y with respect to x. So now there is a function called as predict function. So this predict function is available with the linear regression module, right? So for now, the model which we have created for our own work is this model that is represented by this. So with this object, you're calling the predict function. There is a function called as predict. You're going to predict y's value with x value. So we will just give some x value. We will give it as 5. X represents the experience, right? So always x should, okay. So now we will execute this command. See, since I have said earlier that the independent variable should be in two-dimensional format, right? We should give two square braces here. And here the prediction for y is, see, for x value, for 5 years of experience, the voice value which is predicted by our own model is 31,000 frame. See here, for 5 years of experience, the salary, the actual salary was 31,000. Right? This is the historical data. For 5 years of experience, the actual salary was 31,000. This is the historical data which we had in our hand. And this is the prediction made by the model. See, the prediction. So the prediction which is made by our own model, which we have built for 5 years of experience is 31,484. So there is no much deviation. The actual salary was 31,000 and the prediction made by was 31,484. So our model has a better prediction accuracy. We can ensure that our model is actually having a better prediction accuracy, and we can also make future predictions. We can also make future predictions here. For example, here we have 60,000 salary for 10 years. Now we will check for some 15 years, right? We will check the salary for 15 years. So here I'm changing the value as 15. For 15 years of experience, what is the salary? It is 87,787. For 10 years, it was 60,000. And for 15 years, it is 87,787. So this is the prediction. And we can also find out, as we have discussed earlier, we have to ensure that the major step of this machine learning process is we have to find out the prediction accuracy. So how accurately our model is predicting the value of the dependent variable. So for that, we have another function. So now we will check the accuracy of the model. For this, we have to call the function called as score, which is available in the linear regression package. So inside this, you will have to feed in your data column values, right? You will have to feed in your data column values. Copying it from here. Now we are going to find out the accuracy of our model. I have just fed in the data columns, right? Now we will find out what is the accuracy. See, we are having around 0.99 accuracy. This is shown in a ratio. So 99% accuracy. Our model has shown an accuracy of 99%, which is very, very good, right? So since we are working on a very small data set, it is showing a very high accuracy. When you are working with very large data sets, there may be certain wrong predictions also. There may be some very few wrong predictions also made by the model. So in those cases, the accuracy will start ranging from 80% or 87%, right? You cannot ensure that always it will be 99%. Since we are working on a very small data set, it is of 99% accuracy. So this is how we will have to find out the accuracy of our model. And the next step is we can check what this coefficient is. We can check what this coefficient, that is m's value. We can also check the intercept value. So we will find out what are m and b's value, that is the coefficient and intercepts value. Okay. Let me call a function called as model dot coefficient. So model dot coefficient underscore. Coefficient underscore. This is the function name. See, this is our coefficient value, that is 5630. This is our coefficient value, that is m's value. In the similar way, we can check b's value also. Intercept value. So model dot intercept. Intercept is a function which is available with the linear regression package. That is 3333.333. This is our intercept value. Now we will substitute these values, right? We will substitute the value of m, we will substitute the value of x, we will substitute the value of b, and we will find out what is the value of y. We would find out the accuracy also, right? So now we are going to substitute in the equation y is equal to mx plus b. Okay. So y is value into multiplied by, right, x value. Let me give the years of experience to be 5, right? Plus, I'm copying B's value, that is the intercept value. Okay. So now let me print this Y's value also. Only then we can see the Y's value. So let me execute this. Okay. So for 5 years of experience with this particular coefficient value and with this intercept value, for 5 years of experience, that is X value, Y's value, the salary is 31,484. So we will see, we will just check it with our data frame also. That is with our data set, how far it has predicted well. See, for 5 years of experience, it was 31,000. And the prediction which our model has made with this values of coefficient and intercept is 31,484. Okay. You can check it for even 9 years of experience. We will check it for 9 years of experience. So it is around 54,000. For 9 years of experience, it was 53,000, and the prediction which our model has made was 54,000, right? So not a very big deviation it has got. So the model which we have built for our data set, for training our data set, is of a better accuracy. Okay. So now this is how we have to analyze the accuracy of the model, the machine learning model we have built. And the last step is we have to find out the best fit line, right? We have to find out the best fit line which covers all the observations which was made by the historical data, right? We have to find out the best fit line which covers all the which covers all the data points which we have made with the historical data. So that is the prediction line use, right? Okay, so now let us draw the line. We have already imported the necessary libraries for plotting the graph. Now we will just get into the commands. So now let us just scatter plot. Now let us just scatter plot. See, this pyplot library was referred by an object PLT, which we have created earlier. So with this object, we will have to access the functions which is available with the matplotlib library, right? So I'm calling a function scatter, scatter. So I will have to pass the data column values here. I'm just copying it here. I've called the scatter function. I'm just passing this as parameters to this function, the data column values. And I need to give the color of the data points and the prediction line. So color is equal to R. I'm just giving it as a red color. And also I have to give the marker, that is the symbol with which the data points ought to be plotted, right? Either it can be some ampersand or asterisk or anything. I'm giving it as asterisk. So now let us execute this and see. See, now we are able to see an x-axis and y-axis. X gives the and y gives the salary as per the data set, and this shows you this still we have not drawn the prediction line. This shows you the actual data points. All these data points, it shows you the actual data points as per the data set upon which we are working. Still we have not arrived at the prediction line which was built by our model, right? So now these axes are unlabeled. Let us label the axes also. So it is going to be X label and Y label. For X-axis, we are going to have it as years of experience. And for Y-axis, we will have it as salary. Let us label our axes. And now let us execute this. See, now we have arrived at the labels here, years of experience and salary. And finally, we will have to draw the prediction line. We have to see the prediction line, which was generated by the machine learning model, by our own model, which we have built here, right? In order to predict voice value with respect to X. That is, in what ratio of prediction is our model predicting the values of Y with relevance to X. We need that particular line. That is said to be the best fit line, right? The prediction line is said to be the best fit line built by the model. This best fit line is going to fit almost all the observations made by our historical data. So that is the prediction line. So now let us draw it. So here I'm going to call a function called as plot, which is available in matplotlib library. I'm going to call this plot function, and I'm going to copy this. We have to pass our data columns also. We have to pass our, no, we need to pass our data column. We just need to pass our independent column, independent variable. See, the prediction is going to be done. The prediction line is going to be plotted with the actual data points and the predicted data points. See here, the best fit line is drawn with actual data points and the predicted data points. So for referring to the actual data points, just you can have this. So this will plot Y's value with respect to X value, and the line should be drawn, isn't it? So the next parameter which you're going to pass here is the predicted value. So this is referring to the this will just give the actual data points. See, this refers to the actual data points, that is the voice value with the actual X values which is present in your data frame, right? And now the line is to be drawn with relevance to actual data points and predicted data points. So prediction is done by our model. So we will have to call our model, and we will have to call the predict function. So here the predicted values of Y with respect to X. So this will give you the predicted values of Y with respect to X. So now let us check whether this is working properly or not. See, this is the line. So this is the prediction line. This is the prediction line. So based upon this prediction accuracy, our model is generating the values for the future centric data, or even for the historical data. Data is the data which you feed into the model, and test data is the data with which you are testing the values, right, for certain parameters, and you are plotting the accuracy. So this blue line is said to be the best fit line. This is generated with relevance to the actual data points and the predicted data points. The predicted data points are the outcome of your model, right? Predicted data points are the outcome of the model with relevance to X values, and the actual data points are the values which are present in the data set already. That is the historical data. Right? So now we have completed this linear regression technique. We have completed the linear regression technique, and I will post you a project immediately in Google Classroom. I'll be sharing this notebook file and the .csv file also. And also I want you to work on a project, that is you just develop a linear regression model, right? You can take an independent variable, that is X, to be the area of house in square meters, and you can take the dependent variable Y to be the house rent, right? So you can just otherwise I will share the data set also upon which you have to work. I'll share the data set upon which you have to work. You'll have to develop a linear regression model for this house rent. For calculating the house rent, you will have to predict the accuracy, and make sure that you are definitely trying out with the project. Only then you will be very clear. Okay. So now hopefully you would understand all the steps of machine learning model. I think so, right? Machine learning model, it has several steps. The step one was to collect the data from a relevant source. We have collected our data. And the next step is pre-processing of our data. Since this data set was created by us, I by myself, I created this data set. There is no need for cleaning of data possible here, right? If we are working with very large data sets, then we will have to clean. We have to check for missing values and all. We will have to clean it. So the second step is pre-processing, and the third step is we will have to import the training. We will have to use an algorithm to generate our model, right? We will have to choose an algorithm to generate our model. That is the third step. So here we have chosen the linear regression algorithm to develop our machine learning model. And the fourth step is training our model. So how do you train the model? You're just going to import our data set to the model. That becomes the training data, and the model gets trained, right? After that, you will be evaluating the model. See, here we have trained our model. Here we have trained our model. See, we have created an object and this is referring to the linear regression model which we have created, and we have just feeding in the data columns to fit into the model, right? The model has been created here, and this point, you see here, this point shows that the linear regression model has been created. This point shows that the machine learning model has been created with these values for X and Y, right? And the next step is we have chosen a model, we have trained evaluated the model. See, we have called the predict function, right? And we have evaluated our model with 15 years of experience, and also we evaluated with 5 years of experience. It didn't show much deviation, right? So with 5 years of experience, it was showing, with 5 years of experience, was 31,484. The actual data set is containing the value 31,000 for 5 years of experience. So our model was highly accurate actually. And also we can find out the score of the model. We can also the score function. So here we have evaluated the model. That is the fifth step. And the next step is parameter tuning. So parameter tuning, see, the parameter tuning, the step of parameter tuning, I'll be explaining you in the afternoon session today when we work with logistic regression, where we will split our data set into two different types, that is training data and test data set, right? Using some inbuilt functions, we will be splitting it. And in case if the accuracy is low, in case if the accuracy falls below some 70% or anything, we cannot continue to work with that particular model because of the lack of accuracy. In that cases, what we will have to do is we have to increase the amount of training, right? We have to increase the amount of training, and then we will have to fine tune the model which we have generated. So that is parameter tuning. That is the sixth step that I'll explain you during the logistic regression session in the afternoon. And the last step is we have to make all kinds of predictions. See, we have made predictions, predictions with the coefficient of the model, that is 5630, with intercept, that is 3333, and we have predicted the value of Y for 9 years of experience with the coefficient which was chosen, and intercept which was chosen inbuilt by our model, right? And it showed a very good accuracy. Our model has actually shown a very good accuracy. Always we cannot make sure that it will show, the model which we generate will show 99%. See, there are chances for the accuracy to fall low also, based upon the size of the data set and the total number of records upon which we are working. The model also may go wrong in predictions for a few number of times, right? Very few times. So the accuracy may fall, for which we will have to fine tune the parameters by more amount of training. See, once you get trained a lot, you get fine tuned, isn't it? Once you learn more, you score more. So that is the training which is required with this machine learning also, right? So with this, I'm completing this session of linear regression. I hope I have made justice to the session, and I hope I have clarified everything. If you have any kind of doubts, you can just post it in the comment box. Any doubts, participants? Any doubts?
So if you have any doubts, you can post in the chat box. Ma'am, I think no doubts, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, participants are requested to give give the feedback to the coordinators of the program, because I cannot predict myself whether I am going in the right direction or what, right? So you please give your feedback to to the course coordinators. Even if you're not convenient with me, kindly give in your feedback to the course coordinators, so that I may change the direction which I am taking. If any changes are required, I may change. And since this is completely online, I need certain feedback so that I'll be in the right direction. My teaching would be in the right direction. Okay. Thank you all for staying with me across the session. I will just immediately I'll post this particular Jupyter notebook with you. I'll share it with you. Also, I'll be posting the project upon which you will have to work. Listen, you will have to make justice for the certificate which you receive. You should not receive certificates just like that, right? You should make some kind of justice with the certificate which you receive. So you make sure that you're completing the quiz assignments and the projects which I'm posting through Google Classroom. Thank you all. Thank you so much. Vidya, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Vidya. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.